My apologies on the difficulties. I believe I was rushing and I switched up the stream key and the URL, right? Learn something new every day. Okay, gonna come here and go there. My bad on the technical difficulties. All right. All right. Our socials are locked in. Go home. All right. Come back. And we live. All right. Home. Come back. It's good. And we back rocking with you. Okay. All right, my bad on that, folks. You have to cross the T's, you have to dot the I's. I did not do that. Welcome to SandCity Sports. Your host, the Cape Cod Kid, artist formerly known as Andre King. And we're back again to bring you all the sports and current events, news stories you need to know. We're straight to the business, folks. We had to jump on last night in terms of Luka Doncic going to the LA Lakers. Okay, so that was last night. Went over 2 hours, said a number of things. I feel that my takes and my perspective are in line with the status quo on the Luka and AD trade in terms of what I'm seeing. We're gonna get back to that, but no rest for the weary. We have another day of blockbusters, not to the magnitude of Luka AD. It's not to that magnitude, but certainly De'Aaron Fox going to the San Antonio Spurs, Lavine going to the Kings, a three-team deal. Um, those being the two principal pieces needs to certainly be discussed. First of all, for the San Antonio Spurs, you want to talk about an acceleration. Okay, they had Chris Paul come in to for the apprenticeship to be the veteran point guard to kind of stabilize things. Castle, his development out of UConn has been swift, and he's right in the NBA making moves and holding his own, right? The Spurs right on the verge of the play in, out, but in a very competitive Western Conference. So they're trending in the right direction. And now they have another All-Star to go along with their current All-Star in Wemby um, to start moving up that ladder. Love this deal. Um, hey, shout out, De'Aaron wasn't happy with certain things that went on. Mike Brown, didn't necessarily get the opportunity that he was deserving of, in my view. Now they've won games after with Doug Christie, but Doug Christie is no Mike Brown. You don't become a credible, capable, and NBA coach in your first go round. Mike Brown's been around well over a decade. All right, we go back to Cleveland with the Lakers. His time as an assistant. All right, so but lightning in a bottle. Okay, the Kings have responded correctly, and they're winning some games. Nonetheless, it was apparent that okay, these ships were moving in opposite directions. So respect to the Kings in terms of bringing in talent for De'Aaron, and then this is a destination of choice coming from the Lone Star State and being in a situation, right? There's good things going on in Houston in terms of what MAU Doka has built up. So they're doing their thing. They deserve two All-Stars. We are going to get to that. Did not like the disrespect that I saw to the top flight teams in the Western Conference. We will discuss that. Okay, but specific to De'Aaron Fox going to the San Antonio Spurs. Listen, folks, are they at the top of the Western Conference? Let's pump the brakes on that. Let's pump the brakes on that. But let's go ahead and take a look, right? We got to go ahead and take a look to see where they're going to shake up. All right, to see where they will shake up in the Western Conference. Okay, we doing a couple new things. We learning how to share the screen, and you know what I mean. It is progress over perfection. over here at SandCity Sports. We progress over perfection. But we're discussing, right? Hey, a lot to get to. Please like, comment, subscribe, all of those type of things. We're jumping into this. Do at least an hour, right? Because the NBA, the pecking order, the totem pole, the balance of power, however you want to state it, it's shifting. All right. Does that mean we have new favorites? Does that mean Oklahoma City has dropped down? No. Does that mean Cleveland? Yes, I said Cleveland first. Okay, and the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks have dropped down? No. All right, but there's some dark horses that are not that aren't as shadowy as they were before. There's some teams now that okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. Let's go ahead and take a look. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so this one is going to have to be our standings. Let's give the people the standings. All right, so we can specifically articulate. Right? Yeah. All right, folks. So let's look at this in the Western Conference. Okay. San Antonio, they've dropped down. There are a few games under 500. We don't like to see that. Okay. Point differential, they're in these games. Okay, it's not a situation where they're just giving away games, i.e. the Pelicans, i.e. the Utah Jazz. Who knows what the heck they're doing and what Danny Ainge's plan is. All right, so San Antonio is right in these games. All right, 3-7 in the last 10. That's not acceptable. Okay, and they need to make strides to get back to 500. Look, Sacramento Kings at 500 solidly, not solidly because Golden State's right there. Okay, but we're seeing there's a rift. Okay, the Spurs have fallen off the play-in pace, so they have some work to do with bringing De'Aaron Fox in. I'm receptive to it. Okay, do the Spurs make the play-in? Yes. Who comes out of the play-in? Right? Is it going to be Sacramento in this season of back and forth? Possibly. They're the most likely, not just because they're at the bottom, but I frankly they're just not as talented as some of these other teams. The Dallas Mavericks, who in my view shot themselves in the foot yesterday, do they stay in the play-in tournament? I hope so. I hope so. You move mountains to get rid of Luka Doncic and bring in Anthony Davis. I hope the Mavericks can at least stay in the play-in. But are the Dallas Mavericks as constituted better than the San Antonio Spurs? No, I don't believe so. Yes, I said it. On paper, right? Kyrie, AD, inside, outside. But this is a deal that shocked everyone. I said it yesterday. I'm going to say it again today. I'm not convinced AD wants to be in Dallas. And I have no idea why the Dallas Mavericks didn't leave well enough alone. You got the best version of Kyrie Irving that we've ever seen in the NBA. The best version of Kyrie Irving that we've seen last year. Did we hear about any off-the-court issues? Was he a good teammate? Were he and Luka balling? Did they break through and make the NBA Finals when nobody picked them to make the Finals? Did they get the Minnesota Timberwolves up out of there, who took out the Denver Nuggets in the middle of their championship window? They did all of that last year. And you went ahead and upset the apple cart. You turned everything topsy-turvy in Dallas. So you expect me to believe that you're going to get the best version of Kyrie Irving, who just had a year of consistency, stability, and production? And now you're going to go buck wild? Absolutely not. That's not how it works, folks, when you have situations where there's tumult. Okay? Kyrie Irving's career, we can all say it has been tumultuous. And he just got on some solid ground last year. And now you done pulled the carpet, pulled the rug, pulled whatever you want to call it out from under him. I don't believe you're going to get the best version of Kyrie Irving. I don't believe you're going to get the best version of Anthony Davis. I think there will be a transition time, for this to, this is not going to be seamless like it's been, or mostly seamless like it's been with my New York Knicks and Karl Anthony Towns. Yes, I said it. So in terms of looking, okay, hold on. I'm looking at this. Let me come back over to the screen. That's not the screen that's being shared. This is the screen that's being shared. All right, I'm right. We gotta step this production game up. Let's take a look, folks. I have the Spurs usurping Golden State, usurping Sacramento, and yes, usurping the Dallas Mavericks to make the play-in. De'Aaron's going to come to town. He's going to be happy to be there. He wants to be there. Wemby's, team guy. Right now, I have my point guard of the future, Chris Paul, right, for the time being, and he can continue to be that veteran, that leader, that mentor. You lose nothing there. But you have a legitimate 1-2 punch. So the Spurs will be in the play-in. Okay. Am I going to say Golden State's not going to make the play-in? We don't know what Golden State's going to do. I can't go that far. Right? Shout out to Rudy Tomjanovich. You don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion. You don't do that. Okay. So I have Golden State making the play-in. Okay. But the Kings, no. And yes, I'm saying it, the Mavericks, no shoo-in for the play-in. Okay. The Suns, certainly in the mix right now, looking to bring Jimmy Butler home. I don't know about home, he's not from Phoenix, but you know what I mean. And Minnesota, 5 games over 500. Things are starting to click there. Can't count them out. Okay, bringing in Julius Randle, maintaining the defensive presence with Rudy Gobert. Obviously, Ant-Man, okay, is close to the top. Not at the top, but climbing the Mount Olympus of NBA basketball. So watch out for Minnesota as they make their move, as they right? Capable leadership in terms of their coaching. Clippers, you already know what time it is. Shouldn't be here, but certainly are there, solidly in the playoffs. Okay, without a star. Okay, well, James Harden, James Harden's a star. He made the All-Star game, even though it should have been Norman Powell, but okay. And now the Lakers, JJ's been doing his thing. Said it yesterday, I'm going to say it again, 8-2 in the last 10. Had my reservations about JJ Redick and what he was bringing to the table. But the Lakers are 9 games over 500. And right there for the 4 or 5 seed with the Denver Nuggets. Took a win against my New York Knicks the other night. Okay. And then, Oklahoma City far out. Houston Rockets deserve 2 All-Stars. Memphis Grizzlies also deserve 2 All-Stars. And Denver Nuggets a little bit behind them. Okay. San Antonio is making the play-in. And hold on, let's come back. Let's be firm. Is San Antonio making the playoffs? Are they going to make the playoffs over Minnesota? I don't know. Are they going to make the playoffs over the Suns when they bring in, if and when they bring in Jimmy Butler? And even if they don't, with that trifecta under the capable leadership of Coach Butler, it's going to be tough for San Antonio. The West, hey. Can they make the playoffs? I don't know. But I have the Spurs making the play-in and beginning the climb. Okay? It's too late in the game for them to usurp a team like the Clippers, who have far less talent. Yes, I said it. Now, yes, Ivica Zubac is balling and Powell is balling, but neither one of those two play. You got Ivica Zubac and you got Norman Powell versus De'Aaron Fox and Wemby. Stop that. Stop that talk. It's game basketball, okay? 5 players on the court. All right, team with the most talent, with the most star power is going to get the job done. Clippers have nowhere near the star power, the consistent star power, because, Kawhi is going to be there for a short time, here and there, but not when it matters. Respect to Kawhi, his grind, how he made it to where he is, all that stuff. He's not going to be around during the playoffs. You and I know it. Okay, but at the same time, Clippers are 7 games over 500. Spurs are 4 games under 500. Don't know if they can catch the Clippers. Now, if the Clippers drop down and they match up with them in the play-in, different story. Am I going to pick a De'Aaron Fox, Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, others, Chris Paul, and some worker bees to beat the Clippers in a 1-game elimination play-in tournament? Yes, I am. Okay, Greg Popovich not there, but he's essentially the coach emeritus, so he could be in the mix. Right? I favor San Antonio over the Clippers. For all of their institutional strength, so on, consistency, yada yada, they don't have the better players. They don't. When it comes down to it. So is it razor thin? Yes, but advantage Spurs. Right, to get into the playoffs. All right. Made out like gangbusters. They made out like gangbusters. Okay, folks. So, all right. Lavine to Sacramento, that doesn't move anything for me. Who knows what Sacramento is doing? Right? They're better with De'Aaron rather than Lavine. Okay, and Lavine just duplicates what they already have in abundance, which is two guards. Okay. Okay, so but hold on now. Kings received in 2025, Charlotte Hornets top 14 protected. That's something. Spurs 2027, okay, we'll see. Timberwolves 2031, okay. All right, so they got a lot of picks. Respect. Zach Lavine's going nowhere. All right, going nowhere for the Kings. You already have Malik Monk. Okay, you got Huter, right? I don't know. Okay. Yada yada yada. Excuse me. Let me. You're right. I'm put my foot in my mouth. Okay. Got to do my research a little bit more. So Huter comes over to the Bulls like that for Chicago. Okay, like Zach Collins, serviceable big. All right, and now that's going to open some things up, right? But you still have Monk, De'Aaron. Excuse me, you still have Monk, Lavine, and DeMar DeRozan, right? And if I'm DeMar DeRozan, I'm saying I can't get away from this guy. It wasn't working out swimmingly in Chicago when it should have. And now you put these two back together and expect it to pan out in a more competitive Western Conference. Kings are on that Dallas Mavericks game, just shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, you got picks, you got the future. All right, I'm all for that. But you didn't get the best player in the deal, and you didn't get a player that's really going to help you short term or long term. I don't. It's not. The math ain't mathing for me. Right on the Kings side, I like the picks, but Malik Monk. Now, what does he do? Being in Sacramento, playing with his homie De'Aaron Fox, you were getting the best out of Malik Monk. If I'm Malik Monk, I'm like, man, can I get to San Antonio too? Now, granted, they have Castle there, but as it come off the bench and cook, Kings now have to get rid of Malik Monk, to make room for Lavine. So you're basically going to have the same backcourt that Chicago had that didn't work in the Eastern Conference. Kings are two shakes of a lamb's tail, in my opinion, from just blowing it up. When they're a couple, 2 years removed from seriously challenging the Golden State Warriors. Last year they had injuries, and they have a slow start this year, but didn't think anything was broken to the point of now they're going to be on the verge of blowing it up. Because I don't see them making the play-in. Don't see them making the playoffs. Do see them having egos and duplication. Okay, Lavine had a less than forward-facing ego attitude in Chicago, in my view. I think Billy Donovan is a very good coach. Very maybe, but it hasn't necessarily, he hasn't done his thing in Chicago like he did with Oklahoma City. You remember that? When Oklahoma City broke through and challenged the Golden State Warriors, took them to 7 games in that same year, knocked out a 67-win San Antonio Spurs team in the second round. Do you remember that? And Billy Donovan's first year in the NBA. He can coach. So for whatever reason, Lavine did not want to get down with that, and the Bulls just, frankly, with talent, yes, they needed a point guard. Yes, if Lonzo was healthy, if it's in butt, so on and forth. But that team should not, you know, I don't understand why the Chicago Bulls can't get into a 7 seed, get into a 6 seed, and do something. So I like Huter going. Herder, but I think he's gonna come up under Billy Donovan's wing and shine. And it's just less is more. All right, they've gotten rid of some of the quote unquote star power, but I think the Bulls just have a more cohesive team. All right, let's take a look. See where Chicago is at in the. All right, and Chicago's in the play-in. Right, by a 2-game lead. All right, 1 game away from the 9 seed. Yeah. All right, with Detroit, Orlando, that's dropped down because of the injuries. Atlanta, injuries. They're trying to get, on the same page. I think the New Look Bulls can, make some progress from their standpoint and go ahead and get into that play-in tournament. So a sizable deal, a blockbuster deal, advantage San Antonio Spurs. Okay, the Wembenyama era is moving and grooving and picking up legitimate steam. Okay, but as far as this year, the playoffs, just making the playoffs, that would be, significant. This team is not ready to compete in the Western Conference. They're not. I'm sorry. But next year, let's go ahead and take a look and see. Right? Next year, you can see the San Antonio Spurs usurping the Golden State Warriors. Let's go ahead. All right, because and again, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Like, comment, subscribe. Didn't necessarily, but we have to strike while the iron is hot. NBA is just going buck wild bananas. So we're coming at you live and in full effect to give you the perspective. If anybody that wants to jump in, good, bad, indifferent, please don't hesitate to do so. Don't hesitate to do so. Okay, a lot of programs going on right now in the late night scene, and we got so it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. But I got. Let's stay with the De'Aaron Fox deal. I'm gonna dovetail that with some All-Star views, and then we have to come back. We did 2 hours last night, but there's just more. There's just in terms of Luka Doncic becoming an LA Laker. There's just some more that has to be done with that. Is it Super Bowl week, folks? Okay, Super Bowl week, right? College basketball kicking it into gear, right? Major marquee rivalry games. So just a lot of good stuff that's going on. Let's go ahead and share the screen and connect this, right? Let's come back to our standings. Okay? For this year. Okay, so the bottom feeders, Portland, the Pelican, and that's another thing, folks, that there's more that's going down. I see a complete reformation, a complete realignment of the West, most certainly, but possibly the league. Because New Orleans is sitting here 25 games under 500 with talent. What's up with CJ McCollum? What's up with Brandon Ingram? What's up with Zion Williamson? This is going nowhere. We've seen it. They shouldn't be this bad, but they are this bad. All right? All 3 of those players, in my mind, want to get the chip chasing. Zion doesn't want to be there, period. B.I., you hear less from him. But as great a city as New Orleans is, shout out to Treme. Shout out to the Treme, another David Simon tour de force. We know the wire. And by the way, folks, I want to, you know what I mean? I saw um, they did a thing for the greatest television series of all time, and The Wire came in sixth. We will be discussing that on this episode of SandCity Sports because that's bananas. All right, so we're gonna get some takes on that. All right, but we're staying with today's blockbuster. We're getting to the all-time blockbuster from yesterday. All right, and then we got to talk a little bit of All Star. Okay, we got to talk a little bit of All Star. So, but let's come back to the trade deadline, folks. Bouncing around. Please let me know. Is if you like the style, you don't like the style. It is what it is. We doing what we're doing over here. Okay. Like, comment, subscribe. Good, bad, indifferent. Love to hear it. Okay, but this is SandCity Sports. I'm your boy, the Cape Cod King. We right to the business. All right, the world of sports is just cracking off right now. It's a beautiful thing. All right, the NBA, right? From the days of tape delay to it's just 24/7. Okay, and this was the vision of the late great David Stern, and Adam Silver has taken and just continued to move the bar forward. All right, these sports franchises, we go back to the Black Sox, the Black Sox, Chicago White Sox. Shout out to Ken Burns. Shout out to not the Civil War, his baseball documentary. Right, when free agency was just fought against so stringent, so forcefully by the ownership in professional sports. NBA has completely reversed that narrative. Free agency is an opportunity for these leagues to generate interest, excitement, conversation, speculation. Okay, now again, this is the trade deadline. It's not free agency. I note that, but the basic premise is for many moons, generations in professional sports, the movement of players was forcefully, and somewhat, dare I say, viciously, if you want to talk about the Black Sox, opposed. And giving it a different look, seeing that there is benefit value. Now, teams, and the people in Dallas don't necessarily feel that way. But we're tuned in, we locked in right now. The NBA has our attention going into Super Bowl week. Okay. And that's because, both sides of the coin have been recognized. And you know what I mean? It's right. These shifts, these changes, it captivates the imagination. All right. Now, with that said, I see the Pelicans blowing it up. And so where does, and by the way, if I am the Phoenix Suns, do I want a Jimmy Butler? If I could get a Zion Williamson, if I could get a Brandon Ingram, if I could get a CJ McCollum is a duplicate of Booker, so not necessarily, but, if I'm the Suns, would I rather have Jimmy Butler or CJ McCollum? Probably Jimmy Butler. But CJ can help a team. Notably, if I'm the Minnesota Timberwolves, bring in a CJ McCollum. Or Brandon Ingram. They got Jaden Daniels, So how the Pelicans are playing this, no idea what the Utah Jazz are doing. If Laurie's going to stay, if he's going to go, they don't deserve Cooper Flag. So, New Orleans can just stay in the basement. And the same thing with Portland. A lot of young talent that hasn't played well enough to increase their market value. But they're a ship that's going nowhere fast. Juxtapose them to the Houston Rockets, who deserve 2 All-Stars. Okay? In Ime Udoka's second campaign, and where are they? But Portland, with a capable coach, hey, Chauncey's first head coaching opportunity, right? You see the difference. We see the difference. Ime, right? Ime had to, right, under the Popovich tree, learn, grow, develop. It takes time. to the point where you get the opportunity, it's just off to the races. Kenny Atkinson, same thing. Right? These are lifelong coaches versus, a guy getting their first opportunity, being in the big chair. It's not progressing. It doesn't seem to progress as fast as, those that are more tried and true, having gone through the process. Okay, it's just a fact. Right? It's just a fact. Okay. Let me see if we can. We sharing this screen. Come on over. So I got a couple other things I need to. I'm not happy, Houston Rockets. Yeah, the rapid rise of the Rockets. Balling. Um, let's see how we want to do this. Too much dead air. We're gonna try. Okay. How's everybody? Okay, we see the people that's out there. We're gonna try something. I got a couple things I need to say. So let's come over here. Let's bring this back. And we're gonna. No. I don't know if we need to do the highlight reel. I mean, that's a little bit. I don't know if we need to do that. Okay. I don't agree, folks. I'm sorry. I don't agree with the Houston Rockets only getting 2 All-Stars. Right. Let's stop the sharing. Come back. All right. I don't think you need to see highlights to know the Houston Rockets are balling. Okay, and then we're gonna come back. Well, we're gonna do about an hour today. And we're gonna get about an hour, so we got about 20 and change minutes. Somewhere there's about. And please holla. We're gonna do Luka AD. Much more there. I said a lot yesterday. Maybe I don't want to necessarily repeat too much. Okay, but in terms of the Western Conference, talk a little bit of All-Star. I just, you're the top seed. Excuse me, you're the number 2 seed in a very competitive Western Conference, and you only get 1 All-Star. I don't know. Jalen Green should have been an All-Star. Right? Houston deserved 2 All-Stars. You're the Memphis Grizzlies, 3rd seed, and you only get 1 All-Star. The Lakers, as a 4-5 seed, get 2 All-Stars? No. Ja Bain is an All-Star. Right? The Eastern Conference. Okay, let's. Right, I'm talking to you, but we can do the visuals. So let me get that right. Let's go ahead and get the rosters so that you can see. Right? We're learning. We're going to share the screen. People let me know. Is it too much? Is it not enough? Whatever the case may be. Okay? But I got something I need to say on this. Let's come over to the West first. East is much better, in my opinion. Starters, any issues? You got the stars, the Team USA crew. Gilgeous-Alexander was playing for Team Canada, Jokic playing for his home country. Right? Numbers ridiculous. Joker averaging a triple-double. But honestly, right? Chef Curry, shout out to the play-in tournament. Is he having a better first half of the year than Anthony Edwards? And again, it's the fans. They voted. No. Is Durant having a better first half of the year than Jaren Jackson? No. So the starters, it's going to be about the stars. Fine. Um, but AD, and averaging 25, frankly, AD is balling. AD is balling, and he's been there, and he has a lot to do. Okay, and I'm kind of, my perspective on him is jaded, but at the same time, as much as he is balling, so is Jalen Green and the Houston Rockets. So AD balling in the 5 seed, but Jalen Green is not balling in the 2 seed? No. No, I swap out AD. I put in Jalen Green. We respect winning. Wemby, you know what I mean? But then we kind of get into like name brand recognition. So if I'm gonna hold AD to that standard, you know, does Wemby need to now be out too? AD's giving you essentially 26 and 12. Wemby's giving you 25 and 11. Assists are about the same. So if I'm gonna get, that's a little bit of a double standard on my part. If I'm saying Jalen Green has to be there, does that mean Victor Wembanyama does not have to be there? So some really tough decisions. And Harden being the Clippers representative, okay. Norman Powell was balling. Ibaka was balling. Tough. Obviously, OKC needs minimum of 2. Grizzlies, with the 1. Now in looking at it, I'm a little bit less aggravated, than I was, frankly. Because it's just tough decisions that you have to make. Right? Do I leave out Wemby? Do I leave out AD? As much as I want to get Jalen Green, as much as I want to get Ja, very difficult decisions. But Houston definitely. This the second best team in the Western Conference. Should not have one All-Star. So if I had my druthers, would I, numbers wise, just sheer hold on. Let's take a look at how many games. Let's take a look at the durability. We got to factor that in. We got to factor that in when we're looking at Wemby versus AD. So AD 42 games. I stand corrected, folks. I'm still thinking we're talking about street clothes. Okay, greatest right I have, is the ability to change my mind. I got to change my mind about AD. He's been healthy and he's been balling. Wemby, same thing. Played 40 games. Excuse me again. So I have less of a problem seeing how AD has been balling. You know what I mean? Seeing how Wemby, and he's a unicorn. Do you put Jalen Green in and just give the Clippers no All-Stars? Maybe. Right? That might be, so James Harden, who's, he's doing all right, but he's not doing anything crazy. That might be what I have to do. James Harden is not giving you equal production as Wemby and AD right now. He might have to go in favor so the Houston Rockets, the second best team in the Western Conference, can get their 2 All-Stars. Let's come back over. Eastern Conference, right, Kenny Atkinson, they got the right coach, deserving. Okay, Jaylen Brown, Celtics got there 2 as a number 3 seed. Garland and Mobley, Cavs deserve 3, no problem with it. Tyler Hero over Trae Young, I have to say, with the Heat in the 6th seed and Atlanta, 5 games under 500. That's why that goes down. The Heat deserve an all-star. It's about winning. Same thing, Dame, Rockets, excuse me, the Bucks solidly in that 4 seed. All right, Cade Cunningham absolutely balling, and Pascal being the representative from the Pacers. I got no issue. All right, Halliburton, okay, not getting there. We just talked about Trey. Orlando's had injuries, and they've dropped down in the standings. I have no issues with any of the Eastern All-Stars. Starting five, you already know what time it is. All right, the late, great Fat Man Scoop. Okay, DJ in the tri-state area. Carl Anthony Towns back in the tri-state area. The pride of Don Bosco in New Jersey. Starting, yes, sir. Donovan Mitchell already know. Tatum with the Celtics. Giannis, East got the starters right. East got their entire roster right, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. And it's about winning. It's about winning. So in the West, that's what we need Wemby there. We just do, even though he's in the play-in. And I know it's about winning, but you put Wemby in there, but he's Wemby, so you kind of, that's tough. That's tough. You don't put Trey in, but you put Wemby in, and they're kind of in the same situation, being out of the play-in tournament. That's tough. That's tough. And they're both balling, so, that's where you get into some politicking going on there. And it is what it is. Because AD, let's go down. AD statistically, he's having a better first half of the year than Wemby. He just is. Played more games, averaging more of everything across the board. He's a deserving all-star. So I take away the Clippers all-star and just give it to the Rockets, and then I'm good. Okay. Let's come back. How we doing out there, people? SandCity Sports. By the fans. I'm not gonna bar that. That's so other channels use that by the fans. It's a good line, but passion project is what this is for me, and I'm loving every minute of it. You know what I mean? I'm loving every minute of it. So that means we're gonna burn the midnight oil tonight. I've seen, and I've gotten some. Hey, this is when we have the time. This is when we make it do what it do. I'm gonna be on the job early tomorrow, ready to go. This is when I had the time for the passion project, baby, and we're making it do what it do. SandCity Sports, glad to be with you. All those. Please like, comment, subscribe. Anything, everything, criticism, compliments. Happy to be here, folks. Your boy's happy to be here in the mix on a this has to be all time the greatest weekend of NBA trades in history. It has to be. Okay, now we gotta talk Luka. All right, and I'm gonna restate some of the things I said yesterday. You go ahead and check the receipts. But a lot of those things are you hear them kind of being picked up. Bottom line, a lot of folk in Dallas are just, what the heck is going on? What are we doing? What are we doing? And in my view, I told you what they're doing. They, meaning the new ownership group. Okay, we need to get this. We need to get this on the screens for the people to see. All right, we're not doing rocket. Okay. No, did I say Rockets? No. Can't. People in Dallas. Jason Kidd has an ownership stake in the Mavericks. Did not know that. Let's come over here and share the screen so you can see what I can see. SandCity Sports in the building. Making it do what it do. Right? So our owners Miriam Adelson and Patrick Dumont. Okay? Majority owners. Right? And this Patrick Dumont character is over here. All right. So here's your Luka Doncic trade, folks. Here it is. As far as I'm concerned. You know, new chieftain, new vision. Want to trade a 25-year-old Luka Doncic, fresh off of going to the finals. Um, Trade him away. And one of the things that was brought up yesterday and you know, kind of talked about, you know, let's hold on. Right? So this is again what I'm saying in terms of the foundation. Fundamentally, this trade starts with Mr. Patrick Dumont coming in and wanting to do things his way. Point, period, end of story. Right? And then all of the successive things build from that. Okay? Knicks gave up how many first-round picks to bring in Mikal Bridges? Right? A boatload. How many first-round picks did the Clippers have to give up to bring in Paul George? A boatload. Okay? That's to the point of this deal having been rushed. You know, you had till Thursday. You know, you can't, you know, you're going to, you have the superior player as the Clippers, and you're going to let the Lakers tell you take it or leave it? Come on now. Come on now. So that, and, you know, we'll come back to these but, you know, we got teams reinventing things that I don't necessarily know need to be reinvented at all in any way, shape, or form. Okay? A summation of what was said yesterday as the dust starts to settle. Luka Doncic, you know, wrote a letter, you know, to the people in Dallas, you know, appreciation, respect, thankfulness. Again, going to the point of this coming from nowhere and something that was not pushed by the players in the player empowerment movement. So yes, it's going to take Luka some time to adjust to being in LA, to get his feet under him. Right, having been in one place, now you come to a much different culture in LA and Jeannie Buss, and you know, whereas you know in Dallas, you know, even though it's a huge city, in a large state, but he was, you know, it was Luka, and you know, so now he's got to coexist with another individual on Mount Olympus. But he did a nice job coexisting with Kyrie, who was not necessarily, you know, at his level. Very talented player, but not at his level. Excuse me. But Luka, I tip my hat to him. I tip my hat to Kyrie. They made it work. So that tells me that he's going to make it work being in LA with LeBron. Okay, and now LeBron can, right? This is a good question. I'm right. Who's better, Luka Doncic or Dwayne Wade? Let's go ahead and put that. You know, I mean, we you know, sharing is caring, folks. You know, you get down with the Care Bears. Get down with the Care Bears. All right, let's take a look here, folks. Right? We got to share because we have to ask a question here. Is Luka Doncic the best teammate LeBron James has ever played with? Right? Is Luka the best teammate LeBron has ever played with? And this is quite close. Okay, LeBron and D Wade coming from Team USA, they had a connection, and so it was seamless. So on. But who is better pound for pound, Luka Doncic or Dwayne Wade? It's close, right? Because Dwayne Wade's going to impact the game defensively in ways that Luka Doncic is not. But offensively, Luka Doncic is a better offensive player than Dwayne Wade. Okay, now it's close. Who's a better 3-point shooter? Okay, mid-range shooter, Luka. Post player, Luka. Dwayne Wade is more explosive than Luka, but in terms of scoring from all three levels, right? It's Luka. So the better team, but at the same, but Dwayne Wade is again, Luka's not having the same impact anywhere near defensively, anywhere near defensively. Okay, but to the point, like this resets the clock for LeBron James. All of a sudden, he's 40 years old in year 20. Now he's playing with a Dwayne Wade level player. And that's why, like for AD, it was a little bit too little too late. I'm stunned that AD played every single game and is balling. I'm like, who is this individual? And where was this years ago? I done told you about the comparison between Anthony Davis and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo is what Anthony Davis should have been. That's what he should have been. Okay, but was not. In terms of how hard Giannis plays on a nightly basis, what a physical specimen he is. Just attack mode constantly. That's the type of pressure Anthony Davis at his best puts on teams. Right? So with that understanding, right, imagine LeBron, even though he's advanced in years, he's still getting the job done. But imagine LeBron playing with Giannis. Okay, and then maybe you throw in Dame. Right, but just LeBron and Giannis on the same team. And him having somebody like that to lighten the load. Okay, it's very close between Luka and Dwayne Wade, but again, wild that LeBron now has another alpha with him. Playing for a team that has capable leadership in terms of JJ Redick. With some pieces. Where the heck is Vanderbilt, and when is he going to return to this universe? I like Rui. Christie is good. Obviously, Reeves. The Lakers have worker bees. They have energy guys to come in and lighten the load. I.e. the Dallas Mavericks and, the two transcendent scorers, and then you fill in the blanks. I.e. Larry Brown, 2001 Philadelphia 76ers. You know what I'm talking about. Allen Iverson against the world. Aaron McKee, Eric Snow, Theo Ratliff, who became in the trade that Dikembe Mutombo. I would have kept Theo, but it, you know what I mean? It got Mutombo in there. They needed somebody to guard Shaq. Nobody was guarding Shaq. Mutombo, go back to the 2001 NBA Finals, caught ridiculous amount of bows. A ridiculous amount of bows. You know what I mean? Might have to put that for us on the screen. No, hold on. I'm sharing. Hold on. The right screen is still being shared. Good. But let's see. Shaquille O'Neal elbowing Dikembe Mutombo. I remember. Goodness. Mutombo was guarding Shaq, doing as good a job as possible, but Shaq was just bowing him. Not when he was with Denver. Hold on, let me see if I can. Not when Shaq was with Orlando, when he was with the Lakers. I can't find that clip. Need to be more organized, folks. Need to be more organized. Have these clips ready to go when the episode comes on. Okay, SandCity Sports. your host, this Cape Cod Kid. All right, I'm glad this episode has kind of moved forward. We had to get with you, blast through. We're gonna do about an hour. Um, and I think I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna hold. We're gonna finish. Okay, now again, this is where you know what I mean. Hey, this is because I got another. It has to be a work life balance, folks. It's got to be a work life balance. But I'm gonna hold off on my greatest TV show of all time and how in the world the Wire slipped to 6. Obviously, we're going into Super Bowl week, so you tune into the sports shows tomorrow. Everybody's gonna be embedded, okay, in New Orleans. Shout out to the Treme, shout out to David Simon, okay, for the Super Bowl. So very exciting there. Okay, I'm gonna hold those two things because I'm not gonna be able to get into them like I want to get into them. Okay, but yeah, I see this working in LA. I see the dust taking some time to settle, but hey, there's enough to go around, folks. And the natural disasters in Los Angeles, first and foremost, safety, rebuilding these communities, all of that. Okay, but in terms of two, mega stars on the same team in the city of angels, the city of bright lights, um, yeah, if I'm Luka, you can build your brand. You can be the guy. You can be in the commercials. You can be in the movies. You can be on the Netflix specials and all of that stuff. You're right, and you're shining on the biggest stage. People are gonna be out there stars. You're gonna want to perform, and Luka, when it's showtime, when it's go time, he's gonna be ready right there, ready to go. I see this working, folks. Now I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic. But let's be clear, LeBron has always liked to play with his friends, his boys. And Luka Doncic is not necessarily in his circle. Now, did he make it work with Kyrie? He did. They went to a finals, but he went to a finals with Kyrie. Then Kyrie got upset because, there was speculation about him being traded, and he got angry, and they responded, and it turns out LeBron was right. LeBron said, bring him to camp, don't react. Dan Gilbert wanted to react and made the wrong move. Should have brought him to camp, right? Garland didn't want to play with Mitchell. Couldn't stand to be around him. We've forgotten about that. So, you know, and the whole Bronny thing now, good, great, excellent. Bottom line, this deal to me, in terms of it going down, it needed to go down. But I think, within this is Jeannie Buss saying, this is my team. And you can go back and check the clips, in terms of talking about, oh, Jeannie Buss, Jeannie Buss said LeBron plays on our team. Speaking of huge personalities coexisting, LeBron plays on our team. Okay, because that's not a thing anymore. That's still a thing. Remember when LeBron was back there with Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka? A show of force, a show of I'm here and we're going to do things a certain way. And Jeannie Buss says, yeah, we are going to do things a certain way, my way. And I don't need to get your approval for this. I'm directing this team. I think that's a part of this. Right? Jeannie Buss, Lakers brass, Lakers ownership. This is our team. We don't need to sign off with LeBron on everything. Right? And maybe that is less and less. But long story not so long, it's working because Jeannie Buss knows and LeBron knows he wants to be in LA. So all this stuff, wearing a Knicks towel and subliminals here with Steph Curry, LeBron, just like Deion Sanders, just like Jerry Jones, just like a lot of other people out there, knowing how to play the game, right? Shout out to the Wire, shout out to Marlo, right? When he was stole that lollipop when he didn't need to do it, and the security guard came out to speak to him. What did he say? You want it to be one way. No, you want it to be one. You want it to be one way, but it's the other way. The greatest of all time. I can't get. We're gonna get to The Wire 6. Now they did have Breaking Bad as the top, and in respect, but to me, Wire, Sopranos, Breaking Bad, and then Game of Thrones is up there. A couple others I haven't seen, like Band of Brothers. I got to get down to some couple series. You know what I mean? But we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that another day. You know what I mean? And on the East Coast, it's a little bit later. On the left coast, it's not that late, but this is the time. Then the night time is the right time. Sand City, we back at you. Thrilled to be here. Had to do it because it's just the greatest weekend of NBA trades in the 75 plus year of the league. Why not? We need Sand City. I'm glad to be in the mix. Now Nightcap and Uncle Shay Shay and Ocho Sink. We up there. You know what I mean? We swimming with the we swimming with the big fish, the blue whales in terms of sports media. Okay, but personally, I'm inspired by people like Shannon Sharp. And that's kind of my perspective. Hey, it's early, it's later, all the rest of that stuff. Nobody questions Shannon Sharp doing Nightcap late night, which is a great show, then getting up to do First Take, then finding the time to do Club Shay Shay and do these groundbreaking interviews. He's just out there hungry and hustling. So I try to, but I'm not saying that I am that, but that's what I try to be. I'm hungry. I try to be hungry, and hey, if you got that passion, this is my passion project, go get it. Go get it and make time for the other things that you're doing. But one thing doesn't necessarily interfere or affect negatively another. Okay, we try to move everything together seamlessly. That's the goal. That's the hope. And so that's, hey, Sand City, thrilled to be with you. Okay, so De'Aaron Fox, happy for him. Spurs on the come up. Shout out to Greg Popovich. Health is the wealth. I hope he's getting back healthy. Might not be able to be on the sidelines. Head coach emeritus. Honestly, a lot like how I feel Brad Stevens is for the Celtics. All right. So, love the deal. And yes, young Lions rising. I've talked about it. We're going to continue to talk about this, and I mentioned it, but the Celtics and their woes, they missed Jeff Van Gundy, they missed Charles Lee. Celtics and their woes, Van Gundy, Charles Lee, brain trust. All right? It's a factor. And we talk about what Jeff Van Gundy is doing, the Clippers and Steve Ballmer headhunting him. He's doing great things over there. Is Sam Cassell a capable coach? Yes. Emile Jefferson capable coach? Yes. Okay, but these everyone has a think tank of coaches. And the Celtics lost two of their important members of that think tank. And that has something to do. Charles Lee not being there, Jeff Van Gundy not being in the front office. That's a part of the Celtics floundering. Okay, and my New York Knicks being right on their heels. Right on the heels. All right, Celtics, Boston. The league is catching up. I'm sorry. It is. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. You have your juggernaut. You have your what the Golden State called the death lineup. When they went with Draymond, when they went with Iggy, Steph, Clay, and who else was out there? And Harrison Barnes, the death lineup. Now, this is different than when they had KD. This is different. The death lineup, which they should have went with in 2016 against the Cavaliers, but Harrison Barnes, who they drafted, obviously Stephen Clay, so those three, Draymond and Iggy, the death lineup. Yes, the Celtics have that. Chris BP, J&J, the Jays, then Drew Holiday, the third J, and Derek White. That lineup is insane. Still the best starting five in the NBA. But they're not the best overall team in the NBA. Yeah, see, that's the thin ice that we're on. The thin ice, they got to get it together, right? Because again, it was the brain trust, the lacking brain trust that had the Celtics miss the finals 2 years ago to a Miami Heat team without Tyler Hero, who, by the way, is their only All-Star this year. They missed the finals that year, and they went down 3-0 to that team. Why? Because Joe Mazzulla was all by himself on self, and Brad Stevens didn't bring in a Frank Vogel, where he could have before he got the Lakers job, right? Or before while he was still in limbo after losing the Lakers job, right? That's my view. Now, come back last year with the brain trust on. All right, you lose Will Hardy, you lose Damon Stoudemire, you lose Ma. You replace him with Jeff Van Gundy. You replace him with a Charles Lee. You replace him with a Sam Cassell. You replace him with an Emil Jefferson out of Duke. Shout out to John Shire. That's another thing we have to get to in terms, you know what I mean? It's just a beautiful thing, folks. There's so many great storylines, and again, if I had my druthers, we just go straight through. I gotta work this out where we can just do these episodes and not worry about the doggone time. It's going to get there. It's got to get there. But we got to talk about John Shire and those people that are balling in the NIL era, right? A lot of college coaches getting out of there. And I can't do this and rage quitting, even though they've been benefiting from this system since time immemorial. But now that the players get a chance to benefit, they cry me a river and I can't do this. And, this is wrong. And the players are, and it's getting out of control. Meanwhile, John Shire is like, give me this new market. Give me this new, you know what I mean? You saw what they did. And you saw who's at the game as well. Cameron Boozer and his brother. That's the next year. So Cooper's here and Duke this year. The Boozer brothers are coming next year. Right? A different vantage point on this NIL. Shout out to your boy John Shire. People need to get down like John Shire and stop complaining. He balling in the NIL era. Okay, the Casino Royale. All right, get with the times, folks. I got to get with the times. You get with the times, folks. Okay, Lakers. I don't like to be a Debbie Downer. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. That's not what this is about for me. Okay? But I think Dallas is going, and this is it a hot take? I just don't understand. I don't understand it. It makes zero sense to me. And I said what I said yesterday, and I'm saying it again. I'm saying it again. This is what happened with the Lakers when they made the Chris Paul deal that included Lamar. I keep saying Lamar Jackson. Lamar Odom. NBA, Mark Cuban back then said, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Right? Chris Paul can go to the Clippers. He's not going to the because the NBA owned the Pelicans. The NBA, meaning the NBA owners. If I'm an owner, why would I make the Lakers dynastic? I'm not doing that. It's my team. We all collectively own the team. No, we're not going to create another juggernaut that's going to prohibit us from winning. That was Mark Cuban that was beating that drum, and he was right. Went to the Clippers, had his chances with the Clippers. They were up double digits against the Rockets, and the Rockets, without James Harden, came back and beat them, and they missed out on the opportunity to go head-to-head with the Warriors. The last team to beat the Warriors before the dynasty was the Clippers, but they couldn't, under the leadership of Doc Rivers, have that rematch. Unfortunate. Just like we never got to see LeBron and Kobe. Unfortunate. You know what I'm saying, folks? So that's what is it? Where is he going with this? AD going to Dallas, not wanting to have, AD has controlled his, you know what I mean? Now things out of his control. He's in a new destination that he didn't choose. Is it a great city? Is it sunny? All the rest of that stuff. Cowboys, I don't know if AD is going to be thrilled to be there, or it's going to take time at least. And then Kyrie, you took the stability, and and you open up the doggone Pandora's box. Kyrie, who's been a contrarian without a cause, and who's done, and he was on in a good way, in a good path, and then you just, reshuffle the deck unnecessarily. It's going to take time. That's all I'll say. It's going to take time for Dallas. I don't see them being in the conversation this year. I don't see them being in the conversation next year. All right? I don't see what the heck they were doing. I see new owners with billions of dollars who are used to being obeyed, and they came up against Steele and Luka Doncic. And as far as I'm concerned, right? We want to talk. The Dallas Mavericks did what Jim Brown did. Excuse me, Jim Brown. What Paul Brown did years ago. Let me go ahead and get this. Right? This has to be. Let's see here, folks. Let's see if I can get Jim Brown. Okay, who's it? Let's see if we can get this for you people. All right, so it's Art Modell. All right, let's get this picture on the screen in terms of how I'm, my view on this here thing. We're going to do some sharing because sharing is caring. Folks, Jim Brown, widely considered to be the greatest running back in NFL history, only played 9 seasons. Only played 9 seasons, folks. Right? Art Modell, owner in this era, 1960s. Okay, you do what we tell you to do. All right? Other end of the spectrum from the player and power movement that we find ourselves in today. All right, and Jim Brown being, again, widely considered the greatest, or he's certainly one of the greatest, if not the only played 9 seasons. And Modell was talking to him. I talk to you like I talk to anybody else. Jim Brown said, you don't talk to me like you don't talk to anybody else. And he's doing Hollywood, right? All the things that we applaud athletes for doing, what? 1960s. So what are we 60 years ago? 60 going on 70 years ago. Everything that we applaud them for doing now was fiercely opposed then. Because we want to keep our thumb on them and keep them compliant. And Jim Brown's like, no. No, I'm going to, you know what I mean? Let's see what's going on. What's going on? Mavericks. Okay, some other things going on. Well, hey. But bottom line, that's how I see this situation at its essence. Ownership group comes in and is going to dictate to their megastar how it's going to be. And the megastar said no, and so they blew it up. In this instance, Jim Brown said, I retire. I'm done. In his prime. I'm done. I'm doing my Hollywood. I don't need football. And we all lost because of it. Everybody lost. And that's my view on this Luka Doncic situation. And how it's going to, ownership group and we're gonna do this and do that and yada yada yada, and I'm different than Mark Cuban, and I'm gonna show you. All right, you're gonna show your way right into the basement where the Utah Jazz and the Pelicans and the Pitt Trailblazers. That's where you're gonna show yourself to. Not back to the NBA Finals, but to the basement. Okay, for not leaving well enough alone. Okay, I'm your host, the Cape Cod Kid. Artist formerly known as Andre King. Thank you so much for tuning in to SandCity Sports. Appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe. Good, bad, indifferent. I want to hear all of it. The NBA is going buck wild. All right, but it's a beautiful thing. Changing of the guard, folks. There's more. There's more to come. And it's not just Jimmy Butler. Watch the Pelicans. A lot of assets to move and could lead to just more of these second. You know what I mean? It's just a flat out absolute sprint to the finish, right? What happened? He ran from Marathon to Athens, got there, and he screamed, Nike! Meaning victory. All right? Pheidippides, if I'm not mistaken, for the history people. Okay? He made it, and he screamed Nike, which meant victory. This NBA season is going to be that type of a marathon. I just think a lot of teams are very, very close, and we do not know, okay, what the conclusion will be. It's a beautiful thing. See you next time, folks. Peace.